All right, all right. Trying two different ways to make this happen today. So, stepping out and just thought I would share. So many opportunities today to share what's on your mind, and I wanted to take this opportunity. Welcome there. Yummy, yummy. I just wanted to share some points on authenticity. It's like when things keep coming up in your spirit, you're saying, okay, I believe it's a nudge to begin to share some thoughts, and hopefully these thoughts, truths come in, it aren't always facts. Some of them are related to our beliefs and our understanding and our connection to higher being and spirituality. So I'm just going to drop some thoughts I have here on authenticity. Some of them are inspired by an event that I was fortunate enough to facilitate yesterday, the American Women's Club, where we were really dealing with yourself, grow your connections, and do this by fundamentally getting in contact and knowing your authenticity, playing with who you are at the core. We even at the point of introductions, we didn't spend time on what's our titles and what's that external packaging that we bring to the world. We started from what is that positive attribute, what's that best part of us, and we actually named ourselves that thing. So it's about that story I began to tell myself that helps me with my authenticity. Here are just a couple things I wanted to share. Is number one, your purpose wasn't a conference call. So when God talked to you about what your purpose is and your passion and your calling and your reason for being here, a lot of people may not get it. And it really requires that we do some inner work in order to be comfortable with the fact that we're hearing something that others have not heard. To be the lead dog, sometimes you're often, when you come to the market first, for example, you often are beat a little bit more than people who come behind you because you're paving the way. So being very comfortable with paving your own way and coming up with that new thing that's emerging for you because you heard the call. I think the second point I want to make is that clarity about your strengths help you to operate in your authenticity. We had some ladies who, it took a while for them, maybe for some people, to identify what are the positive attributes about me? What are those strengths that I bring that maybe are unique? And we went to the next step to say that from that strength, what's the value that I bring? What's the value that I offer with this strength? So being able to articulate it and keeping it in front of you and providing evidence and seeking out evidence that proves what that particular strength is for you, testing it and growing it, you know that what you focus on grows. Yeah, what you focus on grows. That's just like having a positive visualization of your life tends to attract that positive into your life. Whereas having worry, which is a negative visualization of the future, will also attract that worry in. So if we begin to understand what's good about us and don't worry about copy paste other people, what's good about you and how can I get mastery in that thing? How can I find opportunities to show up in that space? That's what authenticity really is asking us to do. That third point, commitment and consistency outperform more talented and resourced people. So there are a lot of smart people. There are going to be people, and really the thing that's spoken to me is, fortunately, unfortunately, I've attended a number of funerals and service of songs and memorials lately, and I'm listening to how people live their lives and the stories that people are telling about them. And I don't think anybody wants to be able to say they always said they were going to do something great. They always said they were going to write that book. They always said they were going to start that foundation. There are many people that start the race and never finish. That's why consistency and commitment, doing that private victory of getting up in the morning, maybe a little earlier, or staying a little more focused, not getting right into the emails right away, but waking up with an intention of what you're going to do and having that commitment and consistency. Commitment and consistency outperform more talented and resourced people. That's the piece that I really want to leave with you, and that an unexecuted excellent plan will always fall lower than one that's just started. Start in imperfection, start in imperfect action, because action brings clarity. So hard work outworks talent that doesn't work. How about that? And I took this one from Alori Swank. I love it. Hard work outworks talent that doesn't work. So if you think you look at the parable of talents and you think maybe you just have a little bit, but take your little bit and add water and manure to it and grow it, because hard work outworks talent that doesn't work. So any target you focus on is the target that you will hit. And I love it. We just saw the latest Marvel movie, Shang-Chi, where it says, aim at nothing, hit nothing. So there's some people who are afraid to aim because they're afraid if they commit to something and don't succeed that the world will come crashing down. But guess what? The world won't come crashing down. You may just surprise yourself. You may just surprise yourself and identify something else that you're able to do. And guess what? When you aim at something, by aiming, you're able to then learn. So if you don't hit the bullseye right in the middle, you can look and say, okay, I need to pull a little more to the right. If we shrink away from setting goals and setting targets and aiming at something, then we're depriving ourselves of the opportunity to learn. We're depriving ourselves of the opportunity to practice. Oftentimes that, the fear, the doubt, the shame leads us into procrastination, and we never even practice it. So at the last minute, we're trying to do the thing for the first time, and it's a draft version when it should have been a finished version. So don't lose time in the shout and the shame and the doubt and the procrastination. Get that practice so that when it's time, you're able to deliver at the highest level. I like this one that says, if I'm being told no, then I'm talking to the wrong person. You will come to the train later. We will make room for you when you're ready. So this is about having that vision and the authenticity and being very clear on this is the thing I will do. So when someone asked me a question yesterday about how did I equip myself to be able to leave the oil and gas industry and move into the stage that I'm into now, which is, third chapter, impactpreneur, doing those things that are passion, purposeful, and where I have talent for them. What I was sharing with them is, number one, not all truths are facts. Very much of my journey was a spiritual journey. To have a spiritual journey, if you don't make space to hear, if you don't make space to acknowledge a nudge, if you don't make space to feel that feeling inside of you or something bubbling up. So many of us are too busy, and I've been in that space, and maybe intentionally sometimes a little busier than I need to be, so I don't have to hear any of those things that are going on inside me. I encourage everyone to just have the courage to listen and hear yourself. Listen and hear what's true for you, and that gives you an opportunity to show up in your authentic self. You can't let praise take you too high or the distractions to take you too low. And basically what that's saying is, oftentimes you hear people, I love it when people introduce themselves and they say, I'm the form of this, I'm the form of that, I'm the form of this. So what are you now? What have you done lately? So some of the praise of the past sometimes takes us so high that we have distractions about some of the things that we really need to be focused on now. So honesty is important for leadership, and it helps us to be vulnerable because it builds intimacy. So in that whole authenticity, some of us are like so focused on being strong women, when in fact, very strong things are fragile. You ever notice how strong and hard glass is? You drop it on the ground, what happens? It shatters. I want all of us to, and this is materials engineering, so I'm going back to my engineer, but ductility, being able to receive the shock and adjust, and then you're able to bounce back, even bounce higher than you were before. So I encourage anyone to really think about one of my Patrenia isms, which is, if you're not flexible, you'll break. If you're not in your humanity and being able to be vulnerable a little bit, it might put you in a position that whenever a shock comes, that it just shocks you and kills, and breaks you to that low, low, low. So what I want to encourage you to do is to be flexible. Don't elevate and amplify negative voices. In our authenticity, it's important for us to be inner centered. not outer centered. I love when Will Smith talks about the broken mirror kind of thing, that so many of us are making adjustments in our life based on the feedback of broken people. Those broken people are telling us what we are, what we should be, what we can't, how we should act, how we should think, where we should go, how high we should get in life. And quite honestly, many of those people are broken themselves. It's akin to holding a broken mirror up to your face and making an adjustment in your life based on it. You know those cartoon carnival places where you look at the broken mirror and you look all crazy, but you're going to make adjustments in your life based on a reflection back from a crazy person. I want you to remember the four agreements. The four agreements, that I think is the second agreement, that basically says the essence of it is when someone is giving you feedback or someone is critiquing how you're doing your thing, don't take it personally, because it's more about them than it is about you. Any critiques and complaints and things that I make is more about my own issues than it is about the person that I'm addressing. So don't elevate and amplify the negative voices. If you feel the negative coming, it's actually some techniques you can use to help to rewire your brain. And it's something that I teach in my positive intelligence workshops. So it's very, very effective to, number one, be very aware of your emotions and feeling it. And then ask yourself, what thought is creating this particular emotion and feeling? And then you need to ask yourself, is there another thought? Because when you're operating in your authenticity and people come at you with negative, sometimes it will feel like it's going to penetrate. But you need to have a way to really step out of some of that critique and step out of a comparison mindset. Stepping out of a comparison mindset keeps you from comparing Patrenia to, German, but we'll have Patrenia of today comparing herself to Patrenia of yesterday and Patrenia of last year. That's the kind of comparison that we need to be doing. And it requires us to be, have metrics where we're actually looking at ourselves and thinking about ourselves. I like this one where it says we should hold others up until they can walk, but somehow still focus on our own journey. That having those, being able to help others and being of value to others also helps us to grow in our authentic strengths. If every day you're looking for ways that you can use your strengths to be of value to others, can you imagine that over time people will begin to associate that strength with you? They will be able to see value in what you bring, and you will get practice at delivering that particular value, working that muscle. All of that helps us to show up in an authentic way. We don't have to be like anybody else. I'm probably, so I want to encourage you to look inside and pull out those best things. I want to just assign you to just spend some time today and writing out, what are those strengths? What are those things that I have that other people don't have? What do I bring to the party? And then beside that list, each one, what is the value? What is the value to that strength? How can I begin to have a value? We had one lady yesterday who was sharing that her strength is observation. She's very observant. She doesn't miss many details. And before she left yesterday, someone was engaging her to edit their book. Imagine. Opportunities exist if you prepare and you position yourself and understand what's your strength and play to it. Work that muscle, and that muscle will serve you. Thank you. Have a good day, and Patrenia Speaks. If you want to learn more about any of this, please check my Patrenia Speaks Instagram, and you can email at patreniawo@gmail.com and give you more information. We're actually partnering October 1st and 2nd with Career Health and doing a mindfulness, which is all about your thought and authenticity and who you really are. We're doing a retreat. We're doing a time where you can just free your mind and be able to come to a place where you're recharged, renewed, and ready to go for the rest of the year. So reach out for the Free Your Mind and Thrive retreat. Take care and have a lovely day.